Jacob Zuma's corruption trial has adjourned for the day. The former president is asking the court to postpone the case in order to allow him to appear in person. The former president and French arms company Thales face charges of fraud, graft and racketeering relating to the 1999 arms deal. The court will make the ruling tomorrow. Our eNCA's reporter Siphamandla Goge joins us now live for an update. Spa, thanks for making time. So the legal teams arguing for and against the postponement.
Indeed, with former President Jacob Zuma's legal team saying, well, if you're going to have these proceedings virtually, you might as well have the man jailed virtually. Of course, they are saying he should be present in court so that he can consult with his team. They will be able to take instructions from him. They are arguing that the fact that he's incarcerated at Escort prison makes it difficult for them to consult with him. Joe Komane will show you outside the court precinct here. Members of the SANDF came here to ensure that there is law, order and stability. There were reports of a threat here, and then we saw members of the SANDF coming together with the police, coming to basically take over the entire court precinct outside the main street here. Joe will show you the visuals of the police here. Basically, the former president's team is arguing that by having him at his court while his trial is ongoing, that is unfair, that infringes on his constitutional rights, and it will make it difficult for him to follow the court proceedings. And they are arguing that it will not be an ideal situation to consult with him via the audio or video link, as that will prejudice him. So their argument basically was saying, bring the man here, let him be physically present, and let him follow all the legal arguments that are being made here. So former President Jacob Zuma's legal team asking for a postponement of at least about 3 weeks, saying once everything has settled, then they will be ready to proceed. Of course, the state was vehemently opposed to that one, but they want the former president to be present in court when that application hearing, which is about the recusal of the lead state prosecutor advocate Billy Downer, is heard, so that he can, or he may, if he wants to lead oral evidence in that application. So that's the main reason they want him to be present during that hearing, or to have the state lead prosecutor Billy Downer recusing himself. But let's listen to Advocate Tabani Masugu representing former President Jacob Zuma.
We want that made very clear that today, in future, a virtual hearing will only be an exception, justified by circumstances that are pleaded at that particular point. It is not right for the state, particularly the NPA, to want to treat Mr. Zuma differently. They've been doing that for too long. They must apply the law as they are commanded to do so in terms of the act. This passionate, this zealous pursuit for Mr. Zuma at all costs by bending rules and cutting corners is not right. Let's just have a fair trial. Let's have him in court. Let's have everybody there. Let's argue the case there. Mr. Trenkov can't in good conscience say that it is the platform today to decide the plea.
And Wim Trengove as well as Siphamandla, what arguments did he make this afternoon?
He says all of this is just time-delaying tactics by the former president. He calls it Stalingrad 27. Stalingrad refers to the delaying or time-delaying tactics by former President Jacob Zuma. That's the term that has been used by the state and prosecutions over a number of years, when former President Jacob Zuma was basically using his legal recourse that is available to him to appeal all the matters that he's been involved with previously, especially when it comes to this fraud and corruption trial that is underway here at the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Well, the state is saying all of this is just time-delaying tactics. The former president has got facilities at his court to be able to connect with his legal team. They have a right to go and see him and consult. As we speak today, they were arguing that he's able to follow the court proceedings, so they don't see why this should be postponed. But let's listen to Advocate Wim Trengove. They're arguing on behalf of the state as to why they are opposed to this application to have the matter postponed.
The hearing of this debate on a virtual platform is a public hearing to which the public have access, and in the presence of the accused. He is present on the platform, a la De Beer, so that with respect, it is a competent mechanism, it is an appropriate mechanism, and it is one that the court is not merely entitled, but submit with respect, obliged to adopt in the exercise of its discretionary powers to ensure that fairness is done, not only to the accused, but also to the public interest in the prosecution of, particularly in the prosecution of any serious crime, but particularly in the prosecution of corruption, fraud, and money laundering. So we submit that the process is a lawful and competent one. Let me then turn to our submission that the request or demand for oral evidence is unfounded and unnecessary.